nights just as wise, 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 and life continues rolling with love forever flowing on to creation's endless knowing through all of time, through all of time. Sun comes up in the eastern sky, old wind blows by and by. Every day's just as wise, every day's just as wise. Sun goes down in the western sky, the moon will rise with the shining eyes. Every night's just as wise, every night's just as wise, 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 and life continues rolling with love forever flowing on to creation's endless knowing through all of time, through all of time.
Peace. What's going on, everybody? Let me turn off this. Hold up. Let's see. Mic check. Okay, we good. So I'm off of the laptop. Let me adjust the sound, and we can get there. So again, I first like to thank everyone for tuning in this morning, and all of you who tuned in yesterday without getting that notification. We had a great bill. The bill was universal. We went around the globe. Um, but emotion seems to prevail. And that's not a thing I'm very good at dealing with. And there's a few things I want to put on the table first. If two men have an issue, uh, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do my best to keep that mano y mano. Um, Even when dealing with myself, it's not for me to go recruit anyone to become a hater or someone who simply dislikes another person because someone wants me to. That's weird. But today, to clarify some things, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, or I'm going to ask some questions. Who is this? He said, "Man, come on, man." So, um, what they're doing? What are they doing? Okay, we back. So they blocked my mic off. So I don't know how much y'all heard or how. Long story short, there are a few questions, about 25 questions, that were given me to answer, and most of them deal with the Wale. Um, if you don't know, Last year I began writing a book called 360 Questions to Ask a Yamasi. And oftentimes, see, fuck that. Niggas got to stop trying to gatekeep. The name Yamasi doesn't belong to any fucking body. And motherfucking fact, it ain't even belong to the people that it was first used for. Somebody else used that fucking name and speaking about another people. And that people eventually ran with that name the same way the Muskogee did with the name that doesn't belong to them either. Now, said that to fucking say, you don't have to be a chief, nor do you have to be enrolled into the Yamasi in order to put out any information about them for about the tribe, for the simple fact that majority of the things written about them, number one, aren't written from a tribal perspective. So what this means is they have acquired enough information, whether they got it from the tribe or they got it from different documents, in order to set this shit in motion for them to be able to put this information together. I'm waiting on the rest of the panel to come in, or I was waiting on them. Let me send this one more time. Let's see. No way. So actually, I didn't even send the fucking link to Crane. Let me send this up. Who else did I send it to? Okay. So yeah, all right, there we go. So Crane should be coming in. But it's something I put together for yesterday. How ironic, I wrote this shit for yesterday, but it's more valuable. Whoa, what's good, Carl?
Cool.
Truth. Hey. Hey, yo, that fuck shit early, cuz say warlord. But I wrote something yesterday, and it's fucking ironic that it's more valuable today than it was yesterday. And 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 uh when we look at this, right? When we look at the picture, the larger picture, the bigger picture, yeah, someone said something to me one day, and Crane, you remember, but you have to take this shit serious. When someone say you don't know that person like I do, what they're telling you is there's an intimate relationship that's going on or happened, and that person know the insides, know the heart, know the soul, know the spirits of that person. It can be a mate and or it can be a child. It's like your mama or your daddy. They can hear that, oh, you did something, and they know you did it simply because they know who you are. But for those listening, again, this is the start. So I have to greet you again. But I want to make everything plain and clear. Everything that we've done, everything that we do is always set trends. People watch us, then they change their story to match our story. They rewrite themselves to fit what Iba'a has already laid down. And when we don't bend, when we don't open our gates wide enough, they get upset. But why? Because Iba'a is not built for exclusivity. It's for our own sake. We do not subscribe to outside mythologies. Our truth is born of our community ontology. Our lived reality, our mothers, our bloodlines, our memories. Pause. Everything that we do consists of our actual families. You won't see me in pictures with random niggas who aren't a part of the community or who aren't in my clan. And the reason I continue to push this and the reason I continue to show the mothers is because I don't want you all to get caught up thinking that being around a bunch of randoms makes you quote unquote tribe. That's number one. Now, second, we have set the trend, and that's why you see others chasing after what we've started. So let me be clear. We are not here to chase trends. We are here to protect those that we set. to defend, to fight for our mouths, our sacred grounds, and for our ancestors who built those with their hands and left us the fire to carry. Now, this is why we move with caution. Others are more than others, but you have to move with caution. There are people around you today that may have the numbers you don't have, but they need the information that you have to feed that crowd. There may be somebody today that has an issue with one man, and being that they can't handle that issue with one man, they'll recruit you 2 and 3 and maybe even 10 and 20 and 50 and even 100 people to go against you, to dislike you, or find a reason to say or do some evil shit. Be cautious, learn these people. But that's also why I stay so defensive. It's because I see the things that we do that no one else does, and then they pick them up and run with it. Like when I was teaching Wale Origins, everyone knows Wale Origins is a school. As soon as I let it be known that, hey, we not using the name Wale because that was one town of thousands. And when we tell the facts of the matter, the only way to truly unify it is by actually bringing all of this stuff back together. But I want to talk about betrayal because my cousin said something to me yesterday after I said what I said on my platform. I do want to apologize to Crane because oftentimes I tell cuz not here, not here, not here. But sometimes people need to hear what the fuck they hear at the moment they need to hear it, especially when we deal with those who tend to run away. What I mean is, Red Crane can't tell me something that'll force me to stop talking to him. Red Crane can correct me at any time I am wrong. If Red Crane even feels the need to speak to me like a big brother, he's right. I won't run from him, nor would I turn my back on him. So we talk about betrayal, and we talk about caution, and we talk about betrayal. This is me freestyle. Be cautious, because if you notice someone has the tendency to betray one's trust, if you notice you got a friend and that friend always cheating on his lady, it's like, how can you trust that friend to be loyal to you as a man? And we're talking man to man. The man continues to cheat on his wife, his girlfriend, abuse his wife and his girlfriend. That's not a man I'll trust in war. So Crane, to me, to you, cuz, I apologize for pulling you off yesterday.
Oh, nah, you good, cuz. Nah,
Say less.
hey, family business, man.
Say less. But the thing is, what made me think about it is my wife. My wife said, babe, how many times you been to war with people that left you alone? How many times you been to war with people you had no problem with simply because you was protecting others? Those same people left me in those wars. You see what I'm saying? Imagine having an ally that does one of their own wrong. So you say, well, we can't fuck with you because you did your own wrong. And that person leaves you in the war after coming to you. Fall back and then go back while it's still tension. You can say what you want, but it's viewed as betrayal. I'll never do that to someone that I consider or thought to be a brother who was a friend. So we simply move different. Our shit is layered different. I'm not here to argue with you niggas. That's what you niggas want. You want me to argue with you because that's the only way that you can learn from me. If you had to be my student, you would be my subordinate, meaning that you would have to look up to me. So the only way that you try to make yourself even is by attempting to debate with me. But none of you niggas can fuck with me because you don't have the information. I don't give a fuck if you got 10,000 followers. Niggas with 10,000 followers are in my DM asking me questions. 40,000 followers are in my DM asking me questions. So the number of followers does nothing for a nigga like me. That just tells me you're misleading hundreds or thousands of people. So back to my writing. Yi Iba'a as Ni Igwa'a. We the people of the place above all. We are here to focus and to restore our ancient ways. And our name is an autonym. It is not something given to us by outsiders, not something we invented to look official. It is simply who we are. I'll kill the rest of that shit. Let's get to the fucking questions. Peace, what's good? Who else come in? Who is that? Oh, that's Cuz. Reem, what's good, Cuz?
What's that now?
Shit, everything. I'm just
Yeah.
finna get ready to answer these shits. If y'all want to tap in on the questions, y'all can. So we dealing with order. The first question we have is, who were the Iba'a and why do they call themselves the place above all? It's a great question. Now, the Iba'a were many different groups of people, many lineages, many clans, many towns, many so-called chiefs. The term itself is speaking on a people, but it's locative. So when they're speaking on being from above or above all, they're explaining that they descend from the sky. They came down into the waters or to the land. Anytime you hear that answer, it come from me. The debate series will again be a part of the Red Fight. So all of these answers are being transcribed by StreamYard, excuse me, and they're going to go straight into the book. Question 2.
Hold
What
on,
is the
cuz, my
meaning?
bad.
Oh,
Not to
go ahead,
cut you
cuz.
off.
No, go ahead, brother.
Not to cut you off. And the Ibaha were the first Coast Guards. People coming into a region could never be the first there. That's it, cuz.
Facts. Nah, actual facts. Let's see. So, what is the meaning of the word wale, and how did outsiders first apply it? Another great question. So, when we're dealing with the wale, we're talking about wale who are close to the Yamasi. The word itself doesn't mean downstream, as some Hichiti speakers will tell you. Wahali means downstream in Hichiti, but properly, wali means the border or the edge of the land, and or as Red Crane properly translated, the place where the land and the water meet. So it's talking about the coast. That's what wali really means. But you have some wale and some Yamasi today will tell you that it's an exonym. They're 100% incorrect. Y'all got anything on that? You good? All right. All right. So question number 3. How is Iba'a connected to Niyi Agwa'a as an autonym rather than a colonial label? Amazing question. I'll answer it in 2 parts. In part 1, Iba'a and Agwa'a and Igwa'a and Yupa'a and Apala'a, these are all the same word. They mean the same, right? The exact same. So you're dealing with those who descended from a place that's above this current plane. The issue that people have is they will call themselves Wale or they will call themselves Kataba, yet in reality, that's not what the people call themselves when speaking to themselves. The term used is here, ni ye, ni and ye, I, ni. All of these means us, we, our, right? But with me being a suffix for people and ye being a prefix and ye being a suffix and a prefix, when you put the ni suffix with the ye, the prefix with the ye suffix, it becomes ni ye and you get we the people. So we, the people who descend from that which is above, is properly how you would say it. Let's see. Any questions in the comments, we're going to save for the end. But keep dropping a note because that was a good question. Why is the word creek not an original name for the Iba'a or the Wale? Well, the word creek is English. That's number one. When the Englishmen came up and named the people the Creek, they called them the Creek Indians, the crooked streams, right? The cricket streams. They say, well, anyone who lives on a creek is considered a Creek or Creek Indian. The first people to be called this were the Hichiti speakers, who were known as the Ichisi. These people, or the Ichisi, got their name from the people or those who were alike, who they called the Ochesi. Let me say this again. The original people who came over, they were called the Atakata. They were renamed Ichisi. They named a people Ochesi. Together, they became the Ichiti. These are the people who became known as the Ochesi Creek Indians. From that point, the Englishmen shortened Ochesi Creek simply to Creek Indians. Next, we have question 5. Why did Spanish chroniclers misunderstand the Lady of Cofetachequi as one person rather than a line of rulers? The reason is, in their system, it was hard for them to understand the difference between who was who, especially based on language. So they didn't understand that the term aura or ola deals with a female ruler, right? Or rada or lada. These are women. So that's the thing that they had no clue about. How did my views just drop down to 0? That shit was just up crazy. But can y'all hear me? I got my voice back? Because it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
My views
yeah.
just went from 9 to 0. Like, I think it's the screen. But let's see. Who guided the Spanish to the borders of Upaha? The people that we know as the Muskogeans or the Hichiti speakers, these are the groups of people who took the Soto into Upaha. A lot of them have actually never been to the land, but they were doing their best to try to conquer the land. So these people who spoke a different language and dialect than the Iba'a called the Iba'a or that town Cofetachequi. This is a fact. The way that they know these people spoke different languages and dialects is because in the language of the so-called Upaha, the sound didn't exist. So there's no Ufalakwi. It would be Ufalakwi, right? Things like that. Or there would be no R, there's no R in Hichiti. So they had the L. Different ways that you could find out who the guides were. Now, why do titles Olada, Orada, and Holada, or how do the titles Holada, Orada, and Holada connect Wale and Appalachian leadership systems? In the Depth Fort era, the Wale were connected. This is literally why in my book, The Green Fire, I consider the Depth Fort era to be the Wale era. Understand, when we name things how we're supposed to, they begin to make sense. The Depth Fort culture in the Depth Fort era dealt with the southern and the easternmost coasts. What we learn is, and you can read this in Beneath These Waters, because they deal with my dad's mother's town, Chauga. You find out that the Depth Fort culture became all of these other different cultures. So Depth Fort grew into the Swift Creek culture, right? And Swift Creek grew into what is known as the Mississippian era or the Mississippian culture. So that Wale culture existed before there was a mass migration of people up from South America to the north. Give me 2 seconds. Let me flip this real quick. All right, I had to flip that real quick. I don't know what happened to the connection, but it's like all the views dropped on the laptop for some reason. Shit, weird. Um, let's see. All right, I'm back. So, what role did the Deptford culture play in forming Wale and Iba'a icon? The Deptford culture was the last piece, which of the culture which created who we know as the historic Wale. This is why when you open my book, The Birth of the Wale, I say the people historically known as the Wale. Because before they became known to Wale, they were living a completely different lifestyle. The lifestyle that they began living later on is a lifestyle that was brought to them by people from Canada, by people from California, by people from South America, people from Africa, certain Europeans, and those Taino and Arawak groups that came up to the Southeast. So when you study this, they'll say, well, the Wale, Mississippian people, 1150 AD. Someone tried to use that to argue with me. Then I showed them in an actual science book where they explained, yeah, the historic Wale, who you know as the Mississippians, ate corn. But before maize and before all of this other shit, they were a completely different people, a people in their own right. Deptford culture, pottery, ceramic continuity, dialect continuum, because the titles used in the ancient world were still being used by the Wale in the modern world and by the Appalachian, who gave these titles to the Timucua, or the groups that we know as the Timucua today. Question 9. How did the Wale view themselves in relation to other Southeastern nations like the Appalachian and the Yuchi? More often than not, the coastal people were more sedentary and they were less likely to learn about your culture. So they really weren't into learning of what other people was doing because they were so caught up in their own lives, their own daily lives. They had their own fields, they had their own deities, they had their own languages. When we study and start to learn about the Mississippian era, we start to see a lot of these people were put down because they refused to become become a part of the Yuchi priesthood, which was known as the Tositaniwano Yada'a. You had people being killed because they didn't accept the governing structure of the Yama. So they didn't speak the so-called Mobilian trade language. In turn, all of these people became, by way of that language, Tishlaki, Tiraki, those who speak a different language, or those who practice opposite or other than we do. So I hope that makes sense. And the Appalachee, again, the Wale and the Appalachee were once unified, but there was a separation during the Swift Creek era when things started to get larger. They basically started to form their own individual groups. Question 10. Why should the Iba'a/Wale not be classified as Muscogee? Simple. It's because they're not Muskogee or Musqueam. They didn't originally migrate from the west. They don't originally come from that western side of the Gulf Coast. Though some groups some people mix in, it doesn't make them the same. So simply because they're not. The Iba'a tribal story or migration story isn't one story. You have some families who say they come down from Canada, but you have some families who say, well, we were always in Georgia. Then you have other families who come out of the Caribs and other families who came out of South America and became a part of the union. So it's not a one-way street when dealing with Iba'a. Now, when you deal with Wale, Wale is one town of thousands. However, the Europeans took that word and classified groups of people who even hated the Wale as Wale. So Tolomado, you couldn't be from Tolomado or Talimico or Olamico or Radamico and say, hey, I'm just about to go to the town of Wale and do what the fuck I want to do. It ain't work like that because those people didn't fuck with each other. So in the ancient world, if you said, well, I'm Wale or Wali, they would have thought you was exactly from this town that's the furthest on Wali, on the border of the edge. So if you were from Ufaliqui, you couldn't go into Tolomado and be like, well, my people from Ufaliqui, because it was beef there. So you have to know how it worked. You can't just say, well, I'm Wale. What town are you from? And how did your town, what did your town do with all these other towns that was around them, right? Let's see. Question 11. How does the meaning of Yamasi challenge the idea that leadership titles were Muscovian only? I'll give you an example. The term Miku was already, or Niku, Nikutani. If anyone is Dakota, Lakota, or Nakota, if you study the Kutani, you will find out that your people were a part of a great priesthood whose title, Miku, eventually became the lead title for those in the governing system. So while many may think the term Miku is Muskogee, it's not, it's actually Atakara. When they say that the word Holada is Appalachian is Muskogee, they're wrong. Holada comes from the Iba'a. When someone say, well, Upaha is a Temupan word, well, you say, well, shit, didn't the Temupa say they got the word Yuba from someone else? Yeah. And the suffix ha as a location or speaking on something that's locative. Doesn't that come from the so-called Suan languages? Yeah. So obviously the word isn't as Temupa as you fucking thought. Let's move on. 12. How did clan spirit shape Iba'a's self-identity? Everything physical has a spiritual counterpart, meaning that we all are attached to something that is connected with all that we may or may not physically see. These spirits tend to come with certain characteristics and certain duties and certain titles, right? So I just want to put that out there. Your clan was fucking, if you were Poison Ivy, and there's literally an Ivy clan. If you're an Ivy clan, you got that, you have a certain medicine that can actually heal people from being harmed by what your clan is, you know the medicine, right? If you are, let's say, if you are a bird clan and you're very upset, your family, because they got the medicine, the ceremony, all this shit, but they're observant. Their duty would be to observe ritual and ceremony. Their duty would be to lead ritual and ceremony. Their duty would be to oversee certain situations, right? Panther, they would be more of a, okay, we're gonna go do that. Wolf is more of a, we're gonna make it happen, right? Let's see. Question 13. How do some oral traditions describe the Iba'a as fire keepers of the Southeast? I'll use two. I'll definitely use two. If you notice, most of the mounds that they found of the Iba'a still had fire pits. But these fire pits in the wood Cuz can explain it different, on how different fires burn shit different, but they knew that this wasn't a regular fire. Now, this fire by the Muskogee said that when it came to Wale, they denied the blue fire or the blue flame. So that's one. Another way is the Shata called the so-called Iba'a, the fire keepers. Let's see. Now we deal with the word Kutani, or the priests, those who kept the fire. And Biloxi, it means fire or fire sorcerer. But in Lakota is dealing with someone who's a friend or an ally. Same with Dakota, dealing with someone that's a brother. And if you look it up, Katani, you change the vowel, Kutani to Katani becomes an uncle or my father or mother's older brother. So the Kutani are a brotherhood, an ancient brotherhood, who were fire sorcerers for the Iba'a during the foundation of what was known as the Mississippian era. This is why you have the Yama government. This is why you had the Yuchi priests. This is why you had so-called Siouan warriors at Cahokia at the same time. But not just them, these people together fought the Lenape and the Anishinaabe and the Blackfoot Algonquin and the Cheyenne and the Arapaho, and they pushed those people back across the rivers, right? Let's see. How does the concept of union of families better describe the Iba'a than the word tribe? The word tribe is very primitive. It appears to deal with people who may be in small groups, whether they're kinship groups or friendship groups, and it doesn't really deal with political power. Because if you use the word tribe, that means tribe is not a nation. And if tribe is not a nation, there's something that we can always look down. Someone say, well, the people that they were calling tribes in the 1500s, they weren't nations and chiefdoms. And I say, well, according to whose standard? And someone say, well, the people that was the guys, white boy on threads, the people that was writing it didn't see them as nations. Exactly. They used the word tribe when dealing with actual nations because they knew to the crown it would make those people seem and appear more primitive. That's an actual fact. So we choose ye, the people. Ni, we the people. Right? Iba'a, Gua'a. But why? The name is there. The people, the Iba'a is locative. It's telling us a location that the people reside in. So we're simply the people, and we're a community. We're a union. We don't have to rely on others' translations of our words, especially when they will do their best to make it as if we already don't fucking exist. 15. What do early mound sites like Cahokia show about Iba'a's deep time presence in the Southeast? What Kolamoki shows is being a pre-Mississippian temple mound. It shows that temple mounds weren't brought from Mexico or brought from South America. People already had temple-style mounds. Anyone who studied the story, like one guy say, well, the gopher tortoise was swimming through the cosmos. But if you go to Kolamoki, gopher tortoises don't fucking swim. They that's not their job, brother. They're bearers. They dig and then come out the ground. That's why Kolamoki Mound look the way it does. Dagger, I just gave you some. Now, 16. How do loan words in Timucua demonstrate older influence of Wale and Iba'a language? Okay, another example. The Timucuan word for ancestors, to kill someone, is Igua'a. They got it from the Siouan. It's fucking crazy. The Timucuan word for above, Yuba, they claim came from the Muskogeans Abba, which also means above, right? Because they adopted it. But who did they adopt it from? The Suan. Because someone in the comments gave you a bone. Igua'a can be found aka'a, adaka'a, as what? Suan. So we asking you, hey, what does that word really mean and what's the origin? The moment you tell us the origin is Tamukwa, you let us know that you failed class. 16, 17. Why is the word Cherokee a mislabel for many Southeastern people, including some once tied to the Iba'a? Simply put, number one, anyone who was not a Yama by way of politics was considered Cherokee, somebody who spoke a different language or was of a different speech. You can find this when the Yama start calling the Kasabo and the Shirawa, or who are known as the Jorara. The Yama start calling them Chilakwi. This is why DeSoto came and said Chilakwi, Chalukwi. An Englishman translated that word into Cherokee. Whole time, the word wasn't Cherokee. The people were called Shira. We didn't have La, so Shira. The Muskogee didn't have the Ra, so they said Shila. We would have said Shiwaha. The Muskogee or the Hichiti speakers don't have the ha as a suffix, locative, or a person. So they use the word kli, ki, gi, ki, and right, and qui. There goes the click, the qui. So when someone says she ra, someone say, nah, she la, he. An Englishman say, bro, he gotta be talking about Cherokee, bro. Nah, but he not. He talking about a different group of people. But look, if we say he talking about Cherokee, we can give all this land right here to the Cherokee. This is how fucking Smoky Mountain, Blue Ridge Mountain, this is how all that shit become Cherokee. It originally belonged to an Iba'a people known as the Shirara. The Shirara are known to the people that we know now as Cherokee as the Anishawakli. But Kli is also a Hichiti word, and so is fucking Ani as a suffix. As a prefix. So the Anishawakli or the Shirara were one of the first people called Shilakwi in in Spanish documents. And the English took that and flipped it to Cherokee, but the Cherokee didn't even exist at the fucking time. It's an actual fact. Let's see. Next question. How do the words Makanaya and Yi reveal warrior and membership roles in Iba'a society? Simple form. Makana, another word adopted by the Tamukwa from the Iba'a, is a war club. Makanaya, depending on the dialect you speak, ya can either be in the front or the back of a word, signifying that this is something to be a part of. So, war club, Makana, to be a part of that club. Yeah. How ironic is that? Ya, ba, is how you say clan or family. Interesting. Next question. Why is it important to distinguish Iba'a or Wale identity from later colonial terms like Creek or Mission Indians? Motherfucking red cream. Wale are Mission Indians. They're Christian Indians. There's no way around that. The Wale are Christian Indians. They are the ones who bow down to the sword. If you notice, during the Wale uprising, it took non-Christians to go kill the Christians because they allowed the Spanish to take the coast. But then as soon as that happened, the niggas that was leading the fight flipped, and a lot of them became Christian. So they became the new Wale. So a nigga will tell you that he's Wale. Ask him what the big town was before the Civil War in 1567. Fuck the uprising in 1597. Ask him who was the big town in 1567. Ask her who was the big town in 1567. And who was the big town in 1670 and 80 and 90. And then when did the big town get flipped to a new big town? And how did that big town become the leading party for who we know historically as the Wale until we get to 1715? And when we get to 1715, all of the towns that were involved in the 1567 and 1597 war all of a sudden just pop back up because it's time to fight again. You better stop claiming people's history like we don't know our shit. Better stop that shit. Next, how does the survival of our words, names, and stories today prove their people were never erased? Simple. The language alive.
Nah.
Next question. Next question. What role did clan mothers play in guiding Iba'a councils and ceremonies? I wish my old girl that was up there, but it's cool. Mothers are like birds. They oversee everything, every aspect. Mothers make sure all ceremonial tools are proper. They make sure all ceremonial tools are clean. They make sure that the person even perform the ceremony know what the fuck they do. So the mothers are the true guides behind that power of bird family. How did the Iba'a Tribal Council differ from colonial imposed council? Because the Iba'a Tribal Council was strictly by blood. We didn't give a fuck about votes. Or I was voted in this seat. That vote come from your mama them. If your mama them ain't vote to put you nowhere, that shit don't count. That was why we called it like because our priesthood was the same way. So if somebody, we got a comment on the screen, say Reese, right? Say if Reese was in the priesthood and his daddy would be a priest. His granddaddy would be a priest. Now say it's a woman who come amongst the people and she say some shit like, oh, my son need to be a priest, but she can't get a man as a priest. She would go back to her brothers, it's a whole other nation, and send that nation to attack and kill the priest, all because her son can't be one. This is the same thing white women did with the Klan. Being that their blood didn't fit the Klan, they went to the Muskogee and begged their medicine men for a Klan. So we really were by blood. Today, you see a lot of fucking individuals linking up with individuals who are not really related to them. And what's up, tribe? What's up, tribe? Are y'all in the same clan? No. Y'all people said y'all was in the same tribe? No. So what y'all doing? Oh shit, we rebuilding. Ain't nothing wrong with rebuilding. But what you not gonna do is act like some shit is original when the way you're moving is going against that way today. So what made it different? We had a social system. So yeah, we were matrilineal in the clan, but the social system was patrilineal. Not too many times or too often you hear a man or a woman speak about the social system. Tell them to show you in the book. You see what I'm saying? When you hear me say some shit and you hear somebody else say it, tell them to show you in the book. And if they can't, ask them where they really got it from. Because if they got it from tribe, they would have been living that shit, right? So what makes us different is the blood. Everything we do is family first. Everything we do is still so fucking ancient. Everybody in a single town is still family. You would have to leave Albany to get to Carolina. And it's family out there. But you would have to leave Albany to go to Clay County, but that whole town out there in fucking Fort Gaines is Bear Clan. So we still move our ancient way. We don't unify with a bunch of fucking randoms and say this is tribe, nor do we adopt people into our clans because their family's not fucking with it. If your family not fucking with it, it might be a reason. It really might be a reason. So we don't resurrect shit for niggas to fall in, nor do we simply adopt people so they can fit in. What role did mothers play? Guy, okay, did that one. How did maize agriculture and firekeeping traditions bind the Iba'a together as a people? The maize agriculture, what it did was expanded the fields, and it actually grew the population because there was more food. However, the health effects on the Wale or the Iba'a at this time were crucial. The people became shorter, though their bones became thicker because of their workload. The people became more anemic at least a 50% rate. What if I tell you that at least 70% of all teeth of the people historically known as the Wale had cavities in them or on them simply because they adopted the green corn ceremony? This is an actual fucking fact. That is an actual fact. So it brought people together because we had a famine. The Iba'a were going through a major famine. We lost a lot of land on the coast. People don't understand the Carolinas goes way further into the Atlantic, or went way further in the Atlantic in the old world than it did today. So the people lost a lot of land, and they subjected themselves to the agricultural practices of other people. So it brought them together, and it also destroyed them. What does the Musqueam migration story? This is question 24. What does the Musqueam migration story reveal about their origins from the West compared to the Iba'a? Let me mute up real quick. Everybody, if y'all mute up for me real quick.
God gives us who we are, and that's been from the beginning of time. We have family, an Indian family in Georgia. God gives us who we are, and that's been from the beginning of time. We have family, an Indian family in Georgia.
So that's my elder, and he's Bear Clan. But what I'm saying is our story, or my particular story, because I can't say everybody, my particular story in the Iba'a is that my family has always been in the Southeast. Other people who are Iba'a, their story is that they came down from the north to the south. There are other people who came down from the north to the south and then moved out west. But we all are God's people, right? Because God gives us who we are. That's been since the beginning of time. We have family, Indian family in Georgia. That's just a 12-second video. And the rest of it, he said, what? Yeah, we're a part of the Indian family. But you know, as things go, people migrate and they move place to place. Right? So, who said bring them up? You in this bitch, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
good. Okay.
Hey, I
So
was tapped in. Let me chime in right here because
now go ahead.
that was cold. Let me add on to that. Those people that came from the now. I just got a story from my cousin yesterday. I was working with him last night, and so I spent a lot of time with him last night after work, and we got to build about their migration story. um, we used to think that the soya migrated from out of uh, South America. Man, boy, was we wrong. Their story does come out of Tennessee, so that was true when you had found that out, and they were saying that they come out of Tennessee. They were a fire. They were a. They had one fire too. So when they came out of the east, I mean out of the west or Tennessee, and they seen the same fire in the east, they came into the east and or the southeast. And then not only that, they said that they kept on going. They went to the islands and then they got trapped there. They got trapped in the Caribs, and it took them about 100 to 200 years to come back home. So when they came back with the same fire ceremony that they left with. And once they came back into the land, they seen once again that the fire never died out in the east amongst the people that they called to who we call today the Suin Catawba, but it was the Iba'a that they came across. And well, we already know that because we talk about them coming up in on those canoes. But
Facts,
yeah,
facts.
the
So it
story
was
that
so
we
it was
had was
them. So
they
it was
never
them coming back out of the coming out of the Caribs is what
yeah
gave people the idea that they came from the South America, like the Yama did, basically.
right. But
Okay.
they said that and the reason and they can verify this by song and dance. They have a song
Yeah.
and dance that predates that pre when he told me last night, he said we got a song and dance that goes all the way back to the Jurassic or whichever one is come after right at the end of the dinosaur period.
Yeah.
So they have and then he said that story don't never left North America, meaning that when they was talking about being around the dinosaurs, that they was already in North America, not Central and South America.
So
And
let me
that's
ask this. Let me ask this there. That's cuz out there in Oklahoma. That's Uchi, right?
yeah.
So what the fuck is up with the Uchi in Oklahoma, not Oklahoma, and Tennessee that say the Lenape was the first people they saw in the southeast?
And bro, he agreed with the story that you talk about with the chicks on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, man, get the fuck. We
Yeah,
gotta
bro.
talk about this shit off the camera,
That's why I
cuz.
was telling you, bro.
Hell
That's why I was
no.
like when I was out, I asked
Yeah,
him the same thing. That same thing that you just asked me. He said, "No, we met." He said when we, he said our story is that we had uh sat back and had an argument about, like you just said, who came first, and that
yeah.
he said we bow out of the argument because they don't have a fire ceremony.
And because what's the name stole from them? Ain't somebody stole from the Uchi?
I
Like, but
asked him if it was the Cadoans
yeah,
because of the mounds that was here in Oklahoma, Texas, and shit like that. But he didn't know that part, that
he
answer.
ain't know. Okay. Yeah, hell yeah. That's for sure.
But he
That's for
definitely
sure.
verifies the stories that we set that we know. We just had
Yeah,
the part about them coming out of South America wrong. It's the other way. They left and then he said we went to the east and then we kept going east. He said for some reason we got forced that way. I'm thinking that maybe the permafrost or whatever. And then once they come
yeah,
back into the land, they see the Iba'a, and that's when they said, oh, they got the same ceremony as us. And then of
yeah,
course we
that,
know that
yeah,
so and then of course we know that on paper, I mean in the documents it say that they came in about 20 canoes with about 200 men and women. So
yeah.
them canoes is our evidence to prove that they came from the south. I mean, yeah, that they come from the
The
southeast, for because the canoes was made out of pine.
facts. Then the same canoes that I found in the outer Florida was.
Right.
Yep. When they talked about the trees out of Tennessee being used as the canoes. But yeah, that's fine. I definitely got some shit to ask cuz nah, or to send through you or whatnot. It's something you touched on. That shit slipped my mind, bro. Fuck. It was dealing with the migration. Um, Damn, that shit slipped my mind. When I catch it, I end up, as having you ask for me. But I do got one more question. Um, the final question that we do have is, why did the Spanish misunderstand Wale uprising as disorders rather than resistance to conquest? And here's the answer. There was a chief, or we're going to say an orada, that was so close to the crown that if the crown found out that the Jesuits or that the priests, were doing what they were actually doing, those priests would have got sentenced to death. So what they did was they flipped the story and said, well, Don Juan was mad at the priest because he couldn't have multiple wives. So he and his people started slaughtering everyone. That's the furthest from the fact of the matter. The truth is, Don Juan was tired of Christianity, and he would not stop going to war with the Macoma. Those were his enemies. Fuck the Macoma. Them niggas was sucking penis. Fuck the Macoma. They were using the Spanish to right the crown, attempting to become the leaders of the Iba'a. Fuck the Macoma. They took a language that wasn't theirs and then acted as if it was theirs whole time. It belonged to somebody else. Now, I had a question. The question was up here. Oh, here you go. Boom. Here go the question. No. Every time you ask me, Reese, about Suwan, and the Souks, I'm going to give you the answer no. If the people did not call themselves that, I just gave you the name, what they called you, what they called themselves. Need. Because they called themselves Need, right? And the place is Igua'a. Where does Suwan come from? The idea, fuck Suwan today, we know the Ian or Eon is European, but it comes from somebody else. So found, as long as you classify some shit as Suwan, you always gonna be the enemy. I want you to think about what I just said. As long as you call yourself Suwan, you calling yourself the enemy. When your tribal name, Lakota, lets you know, or Likutani, let somebody know that you're a friend, you're an ally, you're someone who is a brother, a part of a brotherhood. Stop using Suwan, Reese. Stop that shit. Today, Souks, stop that shit. You are Lakota. That's who your people are.
Facts.
And
that's who the fuck you are, bro.
A language barrier, just like Muskogee. So it's not a
facts.
I mean,
it ain't dealing with it. When you say Suwan, you ain't dealing with bitches that's actually connected, fam. You dealing with language. That's like a bitch say, well, you speak a dialect, of English. Does that make me a fucking Englishman? You speak a language that comes from Indo-European. Does that make me European? Nah. Reese, you've been around me long enough, bro, to understand when it comes to exonyms, I don't play that shit. When we get to the real name, we actually start to get to how the people thought about themselves. They wouldn't have called themselves the enemies, bro. The Siouan classification to me is just as dead as the Muskogean classification. These things don't fucking exist. Sean asked the question, is it something about where would the language be classified or how would you group the language? We didn't do that. We didn't say, hey, we speak the same language, fuck them niggas. That's cracker shit. So when people spoke a language, that was the language they were speaking. Someone coming along and naming the language after the people is doing a disjustice. Because I can't say, well, the Iba'a spoke the language of the Iba'a, and that language was called Iba'a. That's wrong. Just Iba'a spoke the language of the Iba'a. What did they call it? Nandas. It means speech. I speak. That's every language that you technically know in their own language literally means speech. Peace. What's going on, Shay? I'm just going through the comments. We're good, family. Peace to everybody in the chat. Mama, let's see what we got next. Sean, what's good? I
Now
say,
that big
what?
question that Sean had asked, that one right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just found out. I did some research on that just recently too, and the Miami that you put in the comment are not the same as the downstream people Miami, the ones in Miami, Florida. I thought they were the same, but they're two different people. The Miami come out of like the area where Cahokia is.
Mm-hmm.
So they like a Ohio Valley tribe.
Also, the Miami or the Miami, the people that looking for are Hichiti speakers, or what we would consider Hichiti speakers, but they predate Hichiti, so I can't even say that. They're Ishati. They're Ishati speakers, or what people call Itza.
Right.
But
Uh-oh.
these people, yeah, these people came up from from Central America, and unlike a lot of other people, they had some fine ass women, boy. They sent more women than they did men for whatever reason. The men came looking for the women. Whole time it was Mayans already over this bitch waiting for the niggas to come. And they whooped them niggas' ass. So the Miami were niggas from Central and South America that landed in Central Florida, and they didn't go no further north because they thought Okeechobee was a big ass ocean. In reality, it was, because it was canals leading into Okeechobee that was taking bitches out to the main oceans. But Florida was split by a whole nother ocean. So these people came up, settled there, and said, damn, we can't go no further. We gonna post up here. When they got to the coast down there, Tampa, they already had cousins out there who was fighting niggas that was coming from over there to over here. So this is why you find corn or maize at places like Crystal River, Dagger. This is why you find maize in the peninsula during the AD era, 200. By 1800 years ago, maize was already in Florida. But being that the people were stationary, that maize didn't make it to the coast of South Carolina, the coast of Georgia, North Carolina. It didn't make it to Virginia. The people who brought maize through the land, known as the Miku and the Suki, or together, the Mikuzuki, are those who brought the maize into Alabama, Georgia, Carolina, shit like that. So you definitely got many groups of Miami, but the Miami or the Maya, me, or the Maya Ko, those are people who've been here for a long ass fucking time. Let's see. Yeah, that would be like people. Facts. That'd be like people. But bro, focus on your auto now. That'll save you. Get out of that sewer shit. Gotta get out of that sewer shit.
Oh, you talking about we talking about the Lakota Yapi?
Yeah. Cause you know we say Lakota Yapa. That'll mean like the people who are a friend. You feel me? Like the friendly people. You feel me? Or type shit. You feel me? So we see as Kuda and Coda as adjectives. Me would show that it's speaking about somebody, and we dealing with the people. I think it'd be like Yakota Yapa instead of Yakola, or the Kutani. How you have the Koda ni and the
Right.
Kutani. You feel me? I think it's the actual switch between those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a switch. Because sometimes how like we'll say ye when we can be dealing with us, but if I'm dealing with my family, your family, Crane family, then it become me. You see what I'm saying? So shit like that. It's just the rules of the game. It's just the rules to it. Let's see. Anybody asking? Do you all have any questions? I know y'all got other questions that y'all may want to ask. Y'all can feel free to ask them. Crane and Martin, y'all want the flow? I need one of y'all to take over for about 5 to 6 minutes. Oh, Pie in this bitch too. Parker.
Hi, you
Oh,
in
he
here?
could. Yeah,
I
Pie in
stole
this
right there.
Rain.
bitch.
I
Yeah,
stole y'all.
Reem still in this bitch. We're good, Carl.
And shit, I've been gathering myself off of
I'm
work.
mad I missed
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
first 10 questions, but I
Yoko
should run
nephew.
that back.
Yoko nephews, what's going on, y'all? Hey,
Yoko, what's
sis in
going
the
on, partner?
comment. Yeah, yeah. This a good build as always. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, that's breaking everything down, and everything is coming to fruition. Just like my boy Cat Williams said, everything is gonna be revealed in 2025.
Hell no.
Whenever
Hell
I
no.
get, I bring it back to y'all and let you know that this motherfucker is coming to a close.
Hell no.
Hey, it's a question in the chat. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know the answer to.
I got it. So what's the connection between Cherokee Algonquin and Lakota or Lakoyapi language? Great question. The connection is, like I said yesterday, which maybe upset some people. Carolina Algonquin. There eventually became ties in these languages once the people will say, like the Cherokee Algonquin came down into the Carolinas. Then you start to see people like the Pacoimas, who were originally their own people, they start to adopt the Algonquin language. Not only that, the word for deity, what is it? Manitiu or Manitiu, some shit like that. Manitou.
Manitou,
What?
Manitou,
Yeah, Manitou.
Manitou.
Um, that deity actually started being worshipped in North Carolina after the pitch got foods. So when you seen the guy Vince on my platform and he was explaining those artifacts, what he was showing you is a tie-in because he was explaining that, hey, these artifacts, many of these artifacts are Algonquin, but he also showed you which ones were related to the Nuba'a. So there's a genetic tie for some of them, and some of them is simply a cultural tie. But that Algonquin Cherokee people took the place of the actual Shirara, who were called Chilakwi by the Hittite speakers in the 1500s.
But the Sharara, like you said, or Yuba'a.
Facts. And let me not forget that the Shirara, or those they call the Jarara, or the Shira, they are Upaha people.
And that's another word for
Hey,
jaguar,
you
right?
just said something. You just said something that you don't have
Hold
to
on.
expand on it, but you really should like make a disclaimer or something like that, because a lot of people don't know what you just said when you just said some of the artifacts or effigies that were found were brought in by genetics, so by certain people through their genetic tribes. Also, some of them were culturally based, meaning that they had a cultural base within the ceremonial system of that area.
Right.
So that was a way to show the difference between those who came in and those who were already there before them.
Facts. Because those who was already there, they just simply adopted. Those who came in started. Those who were there adopted certain things. Those who came in were started to uh, blend certain traits. That makes sense.
Right, right.
So Though you will see that when I posted yesterday, when it was like the Yamasi and the Makoma adopted the ceramic ways of the Wale, but you don't see the Wale adopted nobody else shit. They had it for so long. They had
Right,
theirs
right.
for so long. I'm not changing it. So when those people did begin to change certain styles, the people looking at this shit like, hey, we could tell which pottery is Wale and which pottery is Macomba simply off how it's made. But they got the same stamps and everything. Yeah, but they pottery was way stronger. Now go look up how long the fucking Catawba say they've been making pottery in South Carolina. They'll tell you at least 5,000 years. So before there was a Macomba or a Tabukwa or a Hadakata, before there was a fucking Lenape and all of this other shit, niggas were already making pottery. They already mastered it. And then they taught the other people. But the people came with different designs. So they started to make the pottery and shipping it off or making the clay. They got the texture right. And then to send it off to a whole nother town and let that town build it and put their marks on it. We're talking business.
Yeah. Pa said something a long time ago when he spoke about at Poverty Point them having a crematorium mound. Possibly that wasn't a crematorium mound. Maybe it was a fire pit so that they could fire the pottery
No, it
or
was a
both.
crematorium. It was a
Or oh,
crematorium mound. It was
okay,
a
okay.
crematorium mound. It was a crematorium mound. A matter of fact, the pit that they did the clay at, that was done in a earth oven, not a mound.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. That so that just
Yeah.
that
Bro,
opened
when
my
your
mind
uncle,
up.
when your uncle speak on something, bruh, I ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong, baby.
I no, I wasn't saying you was wrong. I
Yeah.
was just adding in another possibility just because of fire, because of the pottery. The pottery does have to be fired. So you let me know that there's a fire pit versus the crematorium is a way big difference. So I just didn't know that. I was just asked. That was me just throwing in a reference.
See, but see, you didn't listen to the rest of the part. I don't know what happened when you didn't hear the rest of the story. I said when we went to Property Point, I took my shoes off and we did a ceremony, and I actually went back in time and I seen it.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I said. Yeah, I seen it. It's just not no, I saw it. I actually had that ability to go back in time on these ancient grounds.
Hey, one Jason out there with you?
No, it was no, it wasn't Jason. It was cousin Mac and cousin Kofi.
Yeah, and Kofi's shoes had burnt up out there, ain't it? Or is
Yeah,
it Matt? Yeah.
his soul. It was Kofi. His soul. We was going up the owl mound. I told him
Yeah.
to take his shoes off and everything. He didn't listen, and when he about got in the middle of the mound, his shoes came off. He said, "Pa, what did you do?" I said, "I told you to take your shoes." And that was the brand new Jordans,
It
the
was some
ones that,
J's. Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah,
told me that shit himself. I mean, Matt was telling me that shit, but me and Matt was good on good terms and shit.
yeah, yeah. He said, man, that was the day when I seen when we walked because I walked the whole plaza. That's how I knew that the plaza wasn't a half circle. It was a whole circle. I told him that, and I told him that crematorium B, what that Mound B was a crematorium mound, and the people when them go find that the following year when they do the excavation. And when we came back that year of 2011, that's when the people say we found out that that Mound B is the crematorium mound. If you look at the picture, how they have it, you'll see that Mound B is actually on your right hand side. All right. And then you have the big owl mound, and then you got another mound that's to your left. And then when you're coming down, like you're going towards the river, you got a mound that's right there at the front and another mound on the right side. And then when you go across, then you got another mound that's on that side. You know what I'm saying? And when I told him that, it was like, nigga, what the fuck did you do? Because like I said, when you get that corn husk and you get that medicine and you put it inside that corn husk and everything with the tobacco, when I say that shit was fire, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Poverty Point, correct?
Yeah, this private point. And then I
Okay.
also told them, when it got back to Florida, I had let them know. I said, not only did we have a crematorium mound at Poverty Point, but you also got one that's at Eagle Rock Mound. You know what I'm saying? And I said, and then you also have a Falcon Mound,
You got the
but
Falcon. Facts.
most people thought it was a turtle, and I told them no, it
Mm-mm.
was not a turtle. It was a falcon, and it was an eagle. I say
Yep.
because the NFL in them know these things because that's why you got the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But hey, you ain't hear that from me. And even when it came down to dealing with Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers, and even down here in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, you got the Southern Jaguars.
Why you
You know what I'm
tripping?
saying? You know, so so
Hey,
so so
turned
so
it
they
into
know.
black food.
Yeah, they know. You
My
know, that's
bad.
why like they say New York Giants, because they found 7 footers and stuff in the mounds, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
like, yeah, they know, bruh. That's why the
Yeah.
NFL do these things. They throw out sports and play, like Elijah Muhammad says, sports and play. They tell you stories, you know?
But the bitch ain't peeping. You got the Carolina Panthers. You got the Clemson Tigers.
Right.
You got the Charlotte Bobcats when they was the Charlotte Bobcats. But
Tar Heels.
we talk about the Tar Heels, the Blue Devils. That's just Carolina alone. In Alabama, when them crackers roll tide and they wear that crimson, there that's a real war paint.
Yeah.
Them like man, this shit real.
It's
The
just like they
Al-
was talking about, and people say, why their emblem is an elephant? Because you had the American elephant here. Duh.
but who it was, I forgot who. Oh, that was when we were talking about the rhino and shit. But yeah, that's you feel whatever. Uh, all of this shit, um, they definitely take from American culture, right? But I lost the train of thought because fool funny as fuck. Son say his shoes burnt up in the mouth. It turned him to a Blackfoot. That is too crazy. That shit blew my mind, bro. That is hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Let's see what else we got. We ain't got no other questions. Everybody just sit here and listen to us talk. While y'all sitting here, please go ahead and like the video for me. And if you see that bell on your screen, click that notification bell. Um, and send this video out to somebody that you know might need this information. Shit, you never know what type of conversations they'll get into. So this shit is very valuable for them, and it's fucking free. That's the best thing about it.
Hmm.
Well, not really, because I just had to pay my $45 for StreamYard. You feel me? I gotta pay for StreamYard and shit, but it's cool. Um, let's see, what else can we? One thing I want to talk about, I seen someone post about the Alabama yesterday. The Alabama respectfully are their own. Um, to call them Muskogee is to call them by the name of the people who raped their mothers.
Hmm.
When you have a people that left Mexico and made it to present day Alabama and whooped them people ass all the way up the Mississippi till they ass got to the Ohio River, and you call them people Muskogee, you're dead ass wrong.
Yeah. Man, never mind.
And that if it's a drop, I'll be off this bit. We'll be off this bit soon, more sooner than later.
Nah, it ain't no drop.
Oh,
It ain't.
okay, okay.
I'm just not gonna say it. But
Say less.
like you just said, that they whooped the Alabama up all the way up to the Ohio River Valley, and them people were sitting there. There's people online today sitting up here. Well, if that's the case, how did corn get into the mounds in Cahokia? You can't carbon date corn. You can't
You
carbon
can't.
date corn.
The
And
only way
on
you can
top of
find
that, what does corn do? It don't just it take a long time to break down and disintegrate. So if they found the kernel in the mound, and think about this, you're gonna find kernels in the mound all through the southeast and
You gonna
all the way
find
up into that valley just because of
right,
the ceremonies that are still happening to this day.
right.
So when people sit up there and try to argue that certain crops are corn migrated, and we know who it came in with. It wasn't there before.
Oh Lord, I know what the fuck you talking about.
Yeah. And people trying to say, oh, but it was corn in the Saponi mounds and stuff like that. Yeah, that's fine, but that's because of the ceremonies that come into the area. That don't
Mm,
tell you that corn just because you found corn inside of the mound. They did ceremonies, so they had to give the corn to the earth. Yes, corn definitely gonna be in the mounds. People don't make no
mm,
sense when
mm,
it
mm,
comes to this type of stuff. But you know.
if a
mm.
spoonful of corn kernels enters the path of your mouth, it's gonna travel down the path of your body, out the exit of your ass, in the complete state that it entered.
Right. So I don't know.
Even dealing with the
And what
body,
and what
corn has
and
a
what
hellified migrational story.
and what people don't know is basically the kernel of the corn actually was to clean your colon to scrape all the excess fecal matter out of your body. That's why it never did digest. It just was to scrape the walls to get all that out. But some people, it didn't correlate with the people like that. Some people can eat it, some people couldn't. This is why they have certain things that say eat right for your body type or your blood type. You see? And that's how that came about. And anyway, you ain't supposed to eat
Yeah,
corn
that.
whole like that. Anyway, you ain't supposed to eat corn like that whole anyway, but some people did it and some people didn't. Those that were smart actually took the grinder and put the corn in there and grind it and made cornbread instead.
Yeah,
Hot water.
hot water.
Right, right, right. But when they ate it
Man,
whole
that
like
hot
that,
water
when they
cornbread
ate it
brings back memories.
when they ate it whole like that, that was to clean out the colon. That's why it was like that. But you just don't eat whole corn like that every day, every day, every day. No, you
Yeah,
don't do that. You put that in the grinder and you pulp it down and you turn it into flour. That's why you had corn flour.
right.
Right.
What I say is when it comes to science, um, and when it comes to things like or foods, right? Um, the science for this has always stayed rotten. In the way that they test for what they would consider a maize-like crop or a C4, a carbon for crop is the nitrogen isotope. So they can test the levels of nitrogen to be able to let you know if maize was actually there. And if it was, they can give you estimates or what they would call guesstimates, right? Of how long or what time they actually entered into massive fact. Um, Also, if you study the language of a people or the languages of people, you also can notice when they began to adopt words um, for specific crops that may have come to them. I give you a quick example. Certain group of people didn't have maize. However, when they adopted the crop, it's at the same time
people came into their land. So the original people called waves Hus. The people that came into the land, the people called them Husa. See how that works? The crop was brought by a people. The original people had no name for the crop or nor the people. So they named the crop and then named the people, those who brought this crop, the people of the and right. So those are ways that you can identify when specific uh, agricultural traits or even lifestyle and pathways start to change. The language and the science. My bad. What the world happened? They cut my mic. But yeah, what I was saying was we got a few people on the bill, y'all. If y'all want to build or y'all got something on y'all brain that y'all want to kick off, um, I'm still here for a few more minutes.
Yeah, this good that this information is coming out and everything because we're gonna expound more on this information that's gonna be um dealing with the information tonight that's gonna be on the Southeastern Talking podcast speaking about the Southeastern tribes still alive. You know what I'm saying? Because, they said that uh, in the so-called social media world that the Yuba'a or the Wale or the Yamasi are extinct and that they are no longer alive. Well, tonight's show is going to show differently. Um, we're going to show it from the perspective of the pale faces. They want to take the pale face word to say that they was extinct, but yet we're going to show that these same pale face say that these people was still found after the Yamasi War, So we're gonna show that and everything because we still here, even down to the paper genocide and reclassification. We're gonna show all that, right? And we're gonna show where it says that in the South Carolina documentation that any nation that was contrary or to the government, it would be deemed as being extinct. Just like they were trying to say that the Taino are extinct. Those that was in amity with the government became known as extinct on paper, not by blood. So that's another reason why we're going to touch on that because everything is building up now, so people gotta fall in line, like nephew already said, and get their families together because things that is going on in the political world, um, throughout whole United States, from misnomer United States as they call it today, and with the so-called president,
All right.
which is nothing but a royal government head of the British Crown. That what most people don't know. That's what a president mean, But hey,
Call me.
who am I?
Oh, they ain't no America will own. Oh
Huh?
well, never mind.
So we gonna touch on all
What
that
time?
this
What? Hold on.
evening.
What time you going on tonight, Paul?
That's gonna be um That's gonna be 8:30 y'all time,
Hey,
and Wale is gonna be on there with us and everything. So y'all really need to tune in,
hey.
So that nephew is gonna be on there, and plus, um, And also, I say when you know better, you do better. This is why this information is coming out, and it has to be said. A quick question. My aunt told me that our great grandmother got married to a Apache man down in New Orleans. It said that tribe was in the area. Did the Apache migrate with the? Okay. Well, I'll say this. Um, During this time with the war and everything was going on, the United States military did get the Apache to come across to fight in the southeast. But when the Apache and them found out that they had kinfolks on that side, they was like, man, this our kinfolks, and the United States government was like, nah, we gotta ship these motherfuckers back to the West. But yeah, you had some Apache in them that came through to Louisiana. A matter of fact, if you ever saw the movie 12 Years of Slavery, they showed you on the part to where they was up there around the Caddo territory, which would be known as Caddo Parish, where it actually the story took place at dealing with the Natchitoches area. You actually had some Apache that was in Louisiana and Texas at that time, Eastern Texas. So yeah, but the Apache wasn't in New Orleans. The Apache wasn't in New Orleans. The Apache was further up north. The tribes that was in New Orleans um was the Chapatulas. You also had the Chickamauga. You had the Tunica. You had the Biloxi. You had the Chawasha. You had the Pacapa came and visit. Where they would come to Babancha, which was the French market where we did trading at. You also had the Plaquemines that came. That's why you got Plaquemine Parish. The Plaquemines came through New Orleans. Um, yeah, but the Apache they would visit, but that wasn't one of the main tribes in New Orleans. The Apache would be more um like going towards the northern Louisiana, but not in southern Louisiana. They would come and visit to do trade, but they wasn't in New Orleans. Now he probably himself was a Apache man that came and lived in New Orleans, but not the tribe. So that's different. I hope that answered your question.
Nah, that was a good answer. It lets you also know, not just for not the answer to the question, but just in general when you talk about a person versus the people. Um,
Right.
that lets you know it's gonna be it's gonna happen like that across many forms of people's records and genealogy and stuff like that. You will have people that a certain family member that might have migrated out and into a different state or country within the
Facts.
state. And when they did so, that's just because they taken a family with them. As far as like
Facts.
it might have happened through a marriage or something like that. So it's just like, all right, we moving. We might be going to go live amongst the male's family, his the patrilineal side. We might be going to go live amongst them, or the patrilineal side might come live amongst the mother's family and thing like that. So that won't tell you on paperwork who is who, what tribe they belong to, or anything like that. Because you still, if you find somebody that say they from hell, I'm just gonna throw something random out there. If they from Nantucket and they marry somebody that's in Tennessee or something like that, that don't mean that just because you found somebody just up under them or a child of theirs that was born in Tennessee or whatever, that's not gonna change them from being who their mother is. But that also is not gonna say that this tribe migrated to this area. That's just people, a family.
Right,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right. Because a matter of fact, James Brown mother is actually from Georgia, which what they call Georgia, but his father was Apache, but his mother was of a southeastern tribe. You know,
I think he come from South Carolina, Paul.
Yeah, Augusta. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
no, 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 no,
Now you
no,
think about Ray
no,
Charles. You think about Ray. You think about Ray.
No,
James
I
Brown.
think
James Brown.
Real
James
Allen.
Brown is from Augusta. James
I
Brown
think
from Augusta.
all right.
Most
James Brown from
definitely.
Augusta.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Where?
from Augusta,
Okay, where Ray
Georgia.
Charles from?
No,
Florida.
I think we got it wrong. Hold on.
James Brown is from Augusta.
South Carolina or Georgia, because you know we got Augusta too now.
Ooh, yeah, they
Nah,
do.
that he was born in South Carolina. He was raised in Augusta.
Okay,
Okay.
he basically crossed the river because you got South Carolina, Augusta, and Georgia, Augusta. Them shit ain't nothing but separated by a river.
Yeah,
Yeah, in fact, that's the same thing my grandma was telling me about part Georgia and parts of Carolina. She like shit when she was growing up, damn, it was you know what I'm saying, like that shit would change to them. So sometimes that shit Carolina, sometimes that shit Georgia, you'll have to move a couple of feet. I'm man.
Mm-hmm. Because depending on what county, like them boys can be staying in South Carolina, Augusta, but go to school in Georgia.
That what she was saying, like they just crossed that they created that Hartwell Dam shit. So they just crossed that, crossed the bridge after they made the dam. She said that shit was like 5 minutes from across that bitch straight
Yeah,
into Walmart.
all that shit, one big low city right
Ah,
there.
hey, and what y'all just said would make sense on helping people cross bodies of water without you if they ain't had no boats at the time. When you come in and make them dams and make them bridges across, this is talking about modern times though, not old times. But yeah, like if a family ain't have the means to get across that water, and you come build a bridge, all they gotta do is cross that mug and bam.
What was wild is Beaver family definitely was the best bridge builders.
Mm, you just dropped a gem right there. Not even a dagger. That's a gem.
Yeah. When you think about dams and you think about bridges that take you across water, uh, everybody got to play their part.
Yeah, that's a good analogy right there. I wouldn't even thought it like that. I mean, I understand the traits of the beaver and everything like that, but I wouldn't have never thought that they would. And they probably was the best navigators across shallow waters.
Leave it to
Yeah.
Beaver.
Yeah. And the bad motherfuckers, boy. Fucking otters. Bro,
Mhm.
and one thing, listen, one thing I love, but I can't stand is fucking otters, bro. That family feud. It's the family feud.
It's a family feud.
You'll see one, and they be saying, you be like, damn, I remember, boy, like 12 of y'all tried me last time, boy, I caught your man.
Yeah,
Boy,
bust your ass
eight,
up, scuba
boy,
diving.
what? Yeah, 18 come out the water. Oh, no, you got to get up out of here.
Yeah, they
Hey,
go they
And,
gonna run that thing
and
on you.
otters always make a noise like they laughing at you.
hey, it's crazy. You ever heard an otter mimic a jaguar, bro?
Nah,
It sound the same, just a little
it's
lighter.
like a hyena. Is it like a hyena?
Bro,
No,
listen, it's a single laugh. It's like a chuckle, bro. But they
That
make
might be
us
what I'm talking about then. Yeah, that might be what I'm talking about then.
bro, that shit had me rolling one day. Jaguar fucking with an otter. Jaguar with the make he roar, bro, ain't grunt, none of that shit. He made like a click, he like a clicking sound. Them bitches were doing it back like they were laughing at fool. Like, bro, are you dumb? Like you jumping in water, we gonna get on your ass.
I'm gonna punish her. She had no better.
Nah, what? No better, bro.
You jump in that water, you could die.
Hey, it's too many of them. That shit ain't like. I know for
Those
a big
goddamn
cat.
water panthers.
Yeah, come on, Cuddle. Goddamn water panthers, bro. Like, and I know that's the family feud, though. Cause I know they like your big ass had to get out the water. Like, you feel me? Like you were too slow in the water. Like you had to get your fat ass out. How they be talking cash shit. That bit ain't like catching no capybara or no motherfucking gator or no cane. You hop in that water with the otters, they're gonna get on your ass. They hunt for fun, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Otters go catch shit and then
And
bring
keep
it
'em.
back and be like, ain't nobody caught this yet. You go try it. Nigga, cuz done got chewed up by an alligator.
So is the otter more like it's more like a water badger, like a honey badger, but
Basically, yeah,
okay.
type shit.
They
Yeah.
like
They,
an animal that just don't give a fuck. They gonna fuck it up.
they don't give a fuck, cuz. Like, bro, you ever seen an otter eat a caiman?
Nah.
Go on YouTube, look up an otter eat a caiman.
Them boys, they gang them.
They gonna get him. I'm saying facts, bro. They're gonna get him. Like, our mama's got 2, 4 babies, 5 babies. Otter, hey, cuz, how many of
10,
y'all?
10,
Boy,
12.
10, 8, 12, for real. Like, you, whoa, like, so your mama and her auntie got the same great grandma, but y'all got 2 different clan names. Yeah, the family spirit split. Only we can understand that. They still our family. But there's a few. It's like saying dogs and cats not family. Cats and dogs come from the same fucking spirit.
Yep.
Same
And
animal.
the same animal. They just split.
Literally, it just split. So you wonder why, damn, a bear is a dog and a wolf is a dog. But when Paul family get together, you can't tell the difference between bear, panther, puma, jaguar, otter, wolf. You can't tell the difference because they all rocking together. So they got a name for themselves that's more ancient than the name panther, and it's talking about all of it.
Hey, you want to know
And don't
something
say it.
you want to know
Oh,
something that you just
they
said?
ain't getting that, Jude, cuz.
You want to know something that you just said? Every one of them grouped in that you just named out. They all call their youngling cubs.
Facts.
So that's definitely a dagger. I mean, we already know this. We do, but yeah, to let the people know, hey, what them people call a wolf call his offspring a cub, a bear offspring a cub, the lion offspring a cub,
Tiger, cub.
Yep.
Otter, cub.
Nah,
Facts.
What do you call them?
all of them is cubs. They're babes. So, like, so the reason I ain't gonna lie, this information show you that a lot of this information is a fucking ranking system. Because if you talking to somebody and say, well, my clan is give me a clan. Somebody throw one out there for the fuck up so I can just go off the door.
Bird.
My clan Bird. What's your relation to Win? No relation.
Got food in the bowl.
What?
I mean, if you want to, okay.
So But you heard me though, Carl?
And what they don't
Yep.
understand is some cats are serpents.
Uh-oh.
The Family Feud. Who is that? Oh, let me mute Carl real quick. The Family Feud.
You heard what I said, Wale?
Yeah, I heard you. You said some cats are serpents. The Family Feud. Why do cats and snakes not like each other? But why did the best cats that we consider domestic cats, why do they still have the tendencies of serpents? They look like them, got the same eyes, their teeth are shaped the same way, they
They
got
creep
And
long
and
they
creep the
tongues.
same way.
and they
What?
hiss. And they
They
hiss.
hiss,
Yep.
facts, they hiss, and they still have that feature. They still have that feature of that ancient spirit that that eventually split up and became these different mutations. When niggas talk about haplogroups, this is something I be trying to explain to
And
you.
they got a snake-like tail.
Uh, the long tail beats, fuck it. I say it, bro. The long tail beats. Who is that? Hey, I don't know. You feel me? Now, it's crazy that when, hey, all I'm saying is this spirit is more united. The spirit is more uni, right? Unit means one. It's one that became many. Many teach it as it's many spirits that became one. And that's at a specific time that's becoming. But simply existing, we are. There is no separation between us and deity, and us and spirit, and us and soul, and us and ether, and us and body and mind. This is what the clan system literally was unifying, is that it is what it is. But if we all take a piece of it and master it, and then bring it together, we could have something special. We could have a real. It's the individualism that really be fucking shit up.
Right. We gotta that's the unions that we be talking about when people be sitting up here saying we all gotta come together, bro. But we understand we here on this panel, the people in the southeast that have dealt within their family and the matrilineal and let me just say the clan systems and everything like that, not knowing what we talking about the family system, they gonna start to realize it's like, yeah, we can be individual families and still come together.
Facts.
And
And
what a union is, it's not something that you just say, hey, we all the same people. Cause I'm gonna defend that. I'm gonna fight that tooth and nail. Like, are we not the same people? I'm gonna always tell people that we're not the same, bro. Your personality is different from mine.
and
All
rightfully
of these
so.
other different types of features. Hell, me and your mama ain't got the same mama, so we not the same. But in a sense, when you say if you can bring families together to unionize, that's what we mean by forming unions individually.
Nah, for real.
Cause I'm not when niggas say we all the same, I think you thinking you a more. You must be a more something. I don't know. That just don't sit right with me.
Let's see. I wanted to I had to go in um want or add on to what you were saying. I get a mic check. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you kind of cut out. Yeah, I heard you.
All right, bet. So like the thing about the system, right? Uh, what the obligation, and we're talking to everyone, male and female. The duty is to your own blood.
Mhm.
That should be the first people you talk to, and the first people that you even unify with. There isn't a group, a tribe, a community, confederacy, whatever that you should be dealing with as as an individual. Your family needs to be involved in what's going on. Now, oftentimes, everybody family um may not everybody family ain't the same. Everybody family may not want to be involved. That's when you have to go another route when no one in the family is. But if the family has the paperwork and they don't want to be who they are, that's an issue dealing with genetics. And you may actually just happen to be the person to first break the spell. I get it. Your duty is to your family. See, oftentimes people say, well, I'm not protected. But and that's simply because the family aren't protecting. If the class system worked how it was supposed to, everyone would be accountable. But when we have simply just say, I'm gonna focus on myself and just go join the tribe and call it a day, I'm fucking Yamasee, Cherokee, Choctaw, Seminole. Your family ain't tell you that shit. And had you put your family first, y'all have been able to walk together. Y'all got please do your best to get in contact with anyone. Because what Cuz is basically saying is when your family's good and taken care of, and his family and her family, and her family, his family, and her family, and his family, and her family, and you can prove who you are, there is nothing wrong with being who you are. Some may run into the issue that they may not can go back to the 1700s like a Mutt or a Reed or a Red or myself or a Pa on certain regions. So they may have lost certain information. But if the families or different families continue traditions and can prove they had these traditions for so long, and then other families come back, they didn't rebuild their town. They didn't revitalize, restructure. There's no anything. Find out the towns your people come from. You have a lot of this stuff that you don't know can be found. All you have to do is just try to reach out to the proper people. But when you reach, even if you don't reach
Red
out to
Crane.
the proper, even, even if you don't, you have to take everybody's information and test that shit. Test it against each other. Put some weight on what these niggas are saying. Put some weight on what I'm teaching. Go do some work and come back and say, this is right, this is wrong, this is truth, this is fact, and this is belief, or this is false. But you will be able to decipher this information yourself. You take that mindset into liberate.
Hey, I got a question. This is general. I'm just asking this just because I want somebody to verify. So I'm letting you know I do know the answer to this, but
Yeah,
it,
so
I
come
do
at
know
him.
that
You ain't trolling, huh?
I'm not trolling. I do know the answer to this, but this is for the general public because we talking about the families and people tracing back things. What is it? What is it? I mean, is your family markers directed to a certain town or townspeople if they have over 4 generations in the same area?
Yeah. So like say if someone take like we say like a Quest diagnostics test, right? A Quest diagnostics test will be able to tell you that your panels were in Georgia or in anywhere, you get what I'm saying? Within a specific time and or place. So they an actual diagnostics place could actually tell you. So it's kind of how like when I took the test and that bitch said North Carolina, right?
Right.
Uh, that was dealing with a specific population in North Carolina. That's how people can, that's one way that you can simply see where you were at that time. What it doesn't do is tell you what clan. And what it doesn't do is point you to a specific group of people. It's simply saying, these are groups of people that I share certain percentages of DNA. So, yeah, and if that that if that if that satisfies the panel.
Okay, so people in the back chat, those that who are watching that are doing and have done your genealogical work. If you trace your family, your elders in your family, your ancestors in your family back to town specific, and they have generations upon generations within that town, most likely, and that town having an indigenous name and a tribal community within that town, they might not have a role
Mm-hmm.
like the Miller Gilliam roles or the Dawes roles or things like that. But that is a specific marker to let you know that if you got about 4 generations in that area, your people from that area.
From their facts.
So definitely don't sit up here and think just because they don't have a role that they don't have a way of identifying who their tribal peoples are.
Facts. Sound like something I said before, Carl.
Yeah, I already know. I just had to do that for the people in the background because I got people that keep asking me to help them with their genealogy and they've already done their genealogy. And then when I'm looking at what they like, man, can you help me find my tribe? And it's like, damn, bro, you haven't sat here and realized that you got 4 generations, 5 generations in the same area.
You
Not only
already
that,
did the work.
you already did the work. Now you need to figure out what you want to do with that work, but you already done it. What you need to confirm for you? It's right
What
there.
it be, what it be, bro. What I've noticed, and this is just dealing with certain individuals. A lot of the shit be popularity contests. You know how some people like say you say okay, like because said for coiners, right? Um, someone to say, well, damn, they ain't good enough. I gotta be Tuscarora. You be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, bruh, you got your information, know where your people at. You got your people's story. You can rock with that, but it gotta be an add-on. Like, I don't know. I noticed that a lot. I don't know how often y'all deal with that. Or
I think they try
someone,
to associate it because they may not live in it. That's another thing. They may not live in that area anymore, right? So just because they don't stay in that area no more, they're like, but what do they got to do with a whole nother state that they people might have moved to? Like I said, through marriage or something like that. And they be like, oh, but what they got to do with they could be in Virginia. They people could be originally from Virginia 5 generations deep, and then all of a sudden y'all in Ohio. Well, what
mhm.
tribe am I in Ohio? That's not what that is. That's not what that's not what happened.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, facts. Like, yeah,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Your tribe don't change just because your people up jumped the boogie and decided to move at one point in time. Hell, some people might move
facts.
for work. They might just that happened, and that happened a lot. A lot of people, like in Texas, this is post Civil War and everything like that. A lot of people, like in Texas, went to Arizona and Albuquerque to pick cotton. Yeah, they had it all down there too. So that's just the industry. And then they would come back home, or people would go work the railroads and things like that, and they travel with the railroad. That don't mean that just because of what town they was in on that census, and then 10 years later, your whole the next 5 generations of your family is in California now, but they started in the Southeast. So now that don't mean your tribe is in California. Keep going
Facts.
back. It's where those first generations of your people were.
And
And what
also,
get what? Oh, my bad.
oh, and also I like to say this too, right? You absolutely right, nephew. Um, with that because people them thinking where they at, that's where they family originated at. But also when you were speaking about the information, people, what I need y'all to do, don't follow somebody because they have a huge following. It's not the following, it is the information. And y'all not even much doing the investigation on the information. Like what my nephew said, how can you have the conversation when you don't even have the information? And everybody that has a million or 500 or 5,000 followers, them followers are not doing the investigation of what's being told to them because if they did, they'll be upset with the people that's misleading them. We don't mislead people. It's not the
Facts.
it's not the quantity of people, it's the quality. Over here, I'm about to let you know you getting that pure, uncut coconina from the Yama, bringing it up to the Wale, you heard me? We ain't gonna give y'all no bogus shit that you can't take.
Right. Yeah.
Serving Thram. Got the real Thram over here.
We giving you the real shit. You know what I'm saying? We not asking nobody for a dollar. We not asking people to do donations and all that there. If you feel that this information is vital to you and your family, show those that giving you the correct proper information to get your family together. You don't hear nobody else speaking this. You got people talking about they Tartarians and all of these things, and I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in your family that say none of those things. You know, when nephew said that, hey, I'll show you that you are saying that America is Egypt is wrong. You're talking about that the Tartarian when he showed you the map. And most of you motherfuckers didn't much know that was a Dutch map. Go look at the Dutch
Man.
word and put it in Google and it would tell you it said the America. It does not say the Tartarian. It does not say the Tamarayan. It not saying none of that. It's not. These people are lying to y'all and playing on your ignorance.
Man,
They
listen. If you
playing on your.
notice,
Go ahead,
pardon me,
nephew.
if you notice, I made that is America Egypt video. That bitch got 13,000 views. After I made that video, niggas started a whole campaign about not basically telling niggas to not fuck with me, not follow me, to block me, all this crazy shit. And in the video, I put out a challenge. At that time, and today, I'm gonna lower the challenge since it took fucking 2, 3 years for anybody to want to challenge me. But I challenge anybody to watch that video and challenge and debate, refute my information with tribal information. You can't use one European. We need tribal elders. And trust me, I'm gonna do my background check on these people y'all call tribal elders. So don't think you just gonna grab somebody and be like, oh, Indigo said America is Egypt. We gotta do drug
Oh
tests.
shit.
We gotta do drug tests. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Floyd Mayweather. We gotta do blood tests.
Gotta
You wanna
do
debate
it.
me, bro. Like,
And that's the
but
thing. They,
Hair follicle
they,
at that.
mm-hmm.
and the thing is this too, nephew, that y'all they make themselves look stupid because if they do go get a European, the European anthropologists and the archaeologists and the historians, these people, y'all say that these people are dogs, right? But one thing you forgot about a dog, they go dig up those bones to find out the information.
Yep. That's their job.
That's their job.
Oh
And
yeah.
guess what? And guess what? Nephew, all my nephews, we all contribute to the book that nephew put out called The Blue Fire and the Green Fire. That's all tribal information. And guess what? You got European archaeologists that
Mm-hmm.
comes and confirm what the fuck we said and we never talked to them before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That ought to tell you something. All these people that you see on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, no man, you never saw them have archaeologists come and say, what y'all saying, young gentlemen, y'all are right and exact. Not we believe or we assume or suppose. They say we know. We know. And if you think these people are some jokes, these people worked at Cahokia. They got books at Harvard University. And she did tours around the world.
Yep. Yeah.
Around the world. This is not
Yeah.
no small fry shit overnight. We know what we talking about.
Yeah.
We got the stories of the ancients. And now once did any of these people say that this was Egypt, now once they ever called the river the Mississippi, because y'all don't even much know that the Mississippi is an Algonquin word. Y'all don't even
Facts.
much know how they got down here.
Facts. Fucking
And
facts.
if
Fucking
you can
facts.
factually prove any of the information that we say incorrect, thank you for correcting us, because we're not gonna rebuttal you if you can factually prove it. Thank you.
What we do is called corrective criticism. We just don't criticize. We do corrective criticism, meaning that we're going to critique and give you the right answer for your fuck ups, where you can get right with your family. Most of
Yeah.
y'all actually follow people like, I'm going to say the name Horace Butler with the book Where Rocks Cry Out. That's misinformation. Y'all got a other little dude who's Chavez that talk about America, the old world, talking about it's Egypt and trying to use the Washington information. That's wrong. That's wrong. Hakeem Bey, that's wrong. I'm calling y'all on blast. You wrong, and y'all misleading the people, and you wonder why niggas all confused. Even when you got people in them talking about that the Israelites and all that there. Well, if y'all was biblically sound, like y'all said y'all is, how could the tribes of the Americas be the lost tribes of Israel when the lost tribes of Israel was not even fucking lost? Dealing with the second books of Kings, they was taken to Assyria. But yet you got a moron saying that Assyria is in the Americas. How? Sweet? How? Like Kanye said, you ain't got the answer, Sweet.
Y'all
What it is,
following motherfuckers like Ali Muhammad and shit. They're sitting up here
what
calling
it
themselves
is,
doctors and stuff.
all these niggas came off of Sinetta. All of
Yep.
these niggas was in that Kemet on trial shit.
Yep.
When COVID hit, all of these niggas got sick and they brain something flipped in their brain. And now everybody is indigenous because my grandma said I'm indigenous. But these the same niggas who said they grandma lied. Most of these niggas, if you go back on their page to 2016, they will say their grandma wasn't Indian. Go back and look it up.
Shit, you ain't gotta go that
I
far.
did the work. I done went on some niggas YouTube. My bad. I done went on niggas YouTubes and walked that shit back 5 years and like, hold on, boy. You was just talking to Marcus Garvey shit. Now this year you got a video as fuck Marcus Garvey. A lot of these people left the religion, but not the religious mindset. And then they try to force everything on people. And if you don't agree with them, then they slander you as if you was in the church. So what if you have an indigenous grandma and your granddaddy actually was an Israelite? Does that mean the indigenous people are Israelites? No. What if you got a grandmother that's indigenous and a granddad that's a Moor or a Muslim or Igbo or a Mandi or a Castilian or a Taino or Yamasi or Wale or Hichiti or even Lenape, but your grandma was an indigenous woman from the Southeast? You still are what she is. But niggas say, nah, my granddaddy was an Israelite, and you know the 12 tribes are from the Americas. My grandma was Indian, Indians here. Now America is Egypt because you have Memphis, Tennessee. And you say, well, Memphis is a Greek word, but Greece is Georgia. How the fuck is Greece Georgia? Because you got Athens and Sparta.
And
Oh, these
wrong.
niggas
That's
dumb.
right.
These niggas dumb. Like, bro, what?
I
Man,
said so
bro.
everything. I said that yesterday. I said so that means everything in America. I said the world is in America.
Yeah,
World
bro. Yeah. Utah is Judah.
Oh my goodness, man.
And what else they say?
You
What the Grand Canyon? You walk through the Grand Canyon, you get in Africa.
right.
now
Right.
watch this. A
And
nigga
Rome
could
is
watch.
closed,
Hold on,
man.
watch this shit. Watch this shit, y'all, boy. You could walk through the Grand Canyon and get to Africa, but there were no Africans in the Americas with the niggas before Europeans.
Right.
Fuck me up. So they couldn't. So they ain't have no boats to get over here. Nor did the niggas say, "Hey, it's a cave we can walk through and get over there with the other niggas at."
You got a better chance of walking into the Grand Canyon and finding an ancient American species before you walk to Africa.
Bro, in the Grand Canyon, I'm gonna tell you how great the Grand Canyon is. The biologists and the anthropologists so live, they found an American lion in the Grand Canyon, and she died protecting her babies. Man, that shit about 13,000 years ago. But a
That's
nigga
why.
want America. Oh, we can walk through and go to Africa. Shut up, come on, bro. God damn, you niggas. Cause what it is they lack tribal information. So when you lack tribal information, you replace it with the religious shit that you had before. Because you don't know nothing about the clan. You don't know
Yeah.
nothing about the tribe. So I'm going to add what I know to clan and tribe, and I'm going to just rock with that. And when somebody say, you know you can separate them and keep them together. Nah, the Indians and Israelites. All right, I can't fuck with you. I know if you came around my mama would blow tobacco smoke all in your face. Y'all done seen her. She was what? All right, y'all. All right. Don't come over, girl, with no America's Egypt shit. She would rip your papers up in front of you. Like, bro, what? Take this shit and go.
Right on.
Take this shit and go. Look, my auntie laughing because she the one who gonna do it
Don't even
first.
make that comparison, boy.
Y'all would really get laughed off the block
Mm-mm-mm.
For real.
And on top of that, man, we done that already. We done
And
done that
then
already.
we did it already, bro. Niggas say you got the temple of Ra and the temple of Krishna and the Grand Canyon. I say, well, Ra and Krishna, by definition, come from two different languages, two different people, two different cultures at two different times. Which tribes speak the language of those people today? And who named those places in the Grand Canyon? These are the questions you have to ask. America is Egypt. No, it's not technically Egypt, but it's the first Egypt because we got mounds. Ain't no mounds in Africa. Go look up the fucking mounds in Africa. Them bitches got doors on them. Go look them
Hey,
up. Everybody got mounds, bro. The first thing, if you grab a boy and you put a boy in a fucking dirt, the first thing he gonna do is make a fucking mound. Y'all so fucked up in the head. Y'all done limited universal science to earthly places. The primordial mound don't belong to the earth, dumbass. And when land first came out the water from primordial to being physical, it still was one. And every time it came up or popped up or went down, it still was a part of the same earth. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but water is alien to this planet. Uh-oh.
You got wrong. Keep going. This is the same shit I was saying the last.
Because last time I checked my periodic table of elements, once you start to create covalent bonds, like two hydrogens and the oxygen, you create a relationship. And that's something that I can carry with me. See, hydrogen is everywhere. Everything that's physical starts wet. Is water wet? Yes, because the root of the word water is wet, and wetter is something wetter than wet. Water, dagger. So it had to be brought here from something like a seaman, somebody who's good in the water, or somebody who's a good swimmer, like a dolphin, right? Somebody, right? Right? Or Maya, or Wata. We do all day, but you know, some deities. Yeah, come on, which in our language means river and boat. Hint, hint. So,
but also a deity in Africa, but we ain't got
facts. And she and is a cousin deity to the deities in the Americas. So when we talk about what's in those buckets or those bags that the Sumerian deities are carrying, or what, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, water is alien to the planet. So there's another certain level of information that don't even fucking belong here. We talking stories. What about the tribes who got stories that predate water?
Hey, that man said, I'm trying to bring y'all to the truth of the matter, he said origins of the matter, but y'all still stuck in the religion. Y'all still waiting on the Messiah.
Niggas don't want the science because the science is like daydream. A lot of people just be on their phone because they scared of reality. That's why a lot of niggas always on social media, because they sit there and have to think about their life. They'll think about all the shit they need to do better. That's what religion is for. You got somebody that you got to think about no shit like that. I can throw that shit on him.
Yep.
No, being bored is good. You know how many times I was bored and when it made some money?
Man, same here.
Evil is good.
What? Don't get old lip. Old lip, you can tell the whole good and evil are perception.
Right.
There's only one. There's only. No, my bad. Pardon me, cuz.
Nah, say what you're saying.
Nah, shit. Go ahead. I'm straight.
A
I got a
lot of our
shower anyway.
ancestors ain't even have words for a lot of this stuff that we deem as far as like feelings and stuff like that. I mean, I'm still waiting to find hell in the indigenous language. I'm still waiting to find a lot of things in any indigenous language, and I can't find it.
Hey,
Literally,
cuz I'll piggyback. Why they
what's
found a word for autism in a South American tribe, bro?
the word for what now?
Autism.
Nah.
The people call it they don't say that the person autistic, they call them living in their own space. It's a
Mm.
word for it. But yeah, like they found what they call autistic kids over there, and they was basically trying to have somebody translate, and the man was like, nah, ain't shit wrong with them, they just live in their own space, like, yeah, type
Mm.
shit. So that's just to add on, like that shit fire. But I
Mm.
gotta hop in the shower. Y'all can take over. I'm finna, yeah, the Dolphins got a away game, so I gotta go watch them boy lose and shit.
Right,
Right.
yeah, them Bucks play at one.
Right, Jack. This job. I
Oh,
about
them
to
boys on
tap
that
out
ticket,
too.
boy.
Right.
All right, come on.
Boy, hold him down.
All right.
Close
Yeah,
out. Anybody want to close out?
Crane, close out.
All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, peace and blessings, prosperity, to all y'all watching. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Peace.
Peace.